I'm Maya, and I witnessed my rehearsal dinner implode in less than a minute. The instant Derek's hands slammed into that three-tier Kest cake, frosting spraying across everything, I grabbed my bag and walked directly out of that venue. No backward glance, no waiting for Connor to chase after me. I simply disappeared. My sister Amber intercepted me outside. "Maya, hold on," she urged, clutching my shoulder. "What's your next move?" "No clue," I replied, but returning there isn't happening. Connor emerged 90 seconds later. Buttercream stained his collar. His complexion was crimson. "Babe, seriously," he insisted. "Derek's completely wasted. He's not thinking straight." "He claimed you promised him marriage first, Connor. He's being theatrical. You understand how he operates." "Actually," I stated, "I clearly don't understand how he operates because apparently I'm clueless about your connection with him." Connor dragged fingers through his hair. "There's nothing worth knowing. We've maintained friendship since university. That's everything." "Then explain his statement?" "Because he's intoxicated and foolish and likely envious that I'm committing and he remains unattached." Amber positioned herself behind me. She pressed my shoulder blade. "Connor," she interjected, "that behavior was genuinely strange. You must acknowledge that strangeness." "Because he consumed alcohol," Connor repeated. "Listen, I'll address it with him. He'll express remorse. Tomorrow proceeds normally." "Tomorrow?" I questioned. "You genuinely believe I'm proceeding with marriage tomorrow following that display?" Connor's expression transformed. He appeared authentically stunned. "Maya, come on, don't act irrational. We're not canceling our wedding because Derek overindulged." That specific word, irrational, I experienced something crack within my ribcage. "I require the key returned," I declared. "Which key?" "The key accessing the honeymoon suite, the one you entrusted Derek with." Connor's eyes widened. "How did you—" "Your mother informed me yesterday. She considered it sweet that you trusted him sufficiently. I couldn't comprehend why your groomsmen required access to our honeymoon suite, but I overlooked it. I'm not overlooking anything anymore. He's retaining it because I constantly misplace items," Connor explained. "He's methodical. I'm disorganized. It's insignificant. Retrieve it from him tonight, or I won't appear tomorrow." I entered my vehicle and departed. Amber contacted me 10 minutes afterward. "Where are you headed?" she inquired. "Some hotel." "Visit my place, please." So I complied. Amber's residence was compact yet cozy. She prepared tea. I positioned myself on her furniture and examined the wall blankly. "Do you suspect Connor's homosexual?" I questioned. Amber hesitated. "I'm uncertain. Perhaps that constituted genuinely peculiar behavior. He's never provided me any signal. Our relationship functions normally. The intimate aspects are adequate, positive, actually." "Then perhaps Derek simply harbors feelings toward Connor, and Connor remains oblivious." "Connor's not unintelligent, Amber. If his closest friend maintained romantic feelings, he'd recognize it. Individuals can remain remarkably oblivious regarding such matters." My phone vibrated. Connor was attempting contact. I rejected it. He attempted again. I rejected again. Then he transmitted text. "Derek surrendered the key. I apologize. I care for you. Please don't proceed this way." I provided no response. Amber seated herself beside me. "What's occurring mentally?" "I'm contemplating. I require understanding what's genuinely transpiring before committing to marriage." "How will you determine that?" "I'm uncertain currently." I barely achieved sleep that evening. Each time my eyelids closed, Derek's face materialized. The fury contained within it, the anguish. He didn't project intoxication when screaming that statement. He projected heartbreak. Morning arrived. Amber prepared coffee. I examined my phone. 27 declined calls from Connor. 17 texts, 4 voicemails. Messages also existed from my mother, Connor's mother, and multiple bridesmaids. Everyone demanded knowledge regarding the wedding status. I contacted my mother initially. "Sweetheart," she responded, "what's transpiring?" Connor's mother contacted me emotionally devastated. "Did Connor explain last evening's events? He mentioned Derek consumed excessive alcohol and created disruption. He claimed you overreacted." "Naturally, he expressed that, Mom." "Derek stated Connor promised him marriage initially. Then he demolished the cake using his bare hands. That's not typical intoxicated behavior." My mother remained silent momentarily. "What's your intention?" "I'm uncertain. I require answers initially. The wedding commences in 6 hours, Maya. I understand the time. I'm not attempting pressure. I simply want ensuring you're reasoning clearly." "I am reasoning clearly. That constitutes the problem." Following disconnection, Amber stated, "So what's the strategy?" "I must speak with Derek." "Are you serious? He's the singular person capable of providing truth. Connor will become unhinged discovering this." "Connor can manage it." I lacked Derek's contact information, but I understood his residence location. Connor had transported me to his apartment multiple occasions for gaming evenings. It existed in a structure downtown approximately 20 minutes distant. Amber insisted accompanying me. We traveled silently. Upon arrival, I activated his apartment buzzer. No response. I activated again. Finally, a drowsy voice emerged through the speaker. "What?" "Derek, it's Maya. I require conversation with you." Extended pause. "Depart." "I'm not departing until you communicate with me." Another pause. Then the door buzzed accessible. His apartment existed on the 3rd level. When he answered his door, he appeared dreadful. His eyes were bloodshot, his hair was chaotic. He wore sweatpants and a wrinkled shirt. "What do you want?" he questioned. "I want understanding what you meant last evening." "I was intoxicated." "You weren't that intoxicated." Derek laughed bitterly. "Connor transmitted you here for damage limitation." "Connor's unaware I'm here." That captured his attention. He observed Amber, then returned to me. "Fine," he stated. "Enter." His apartment was surprisingly organized for someone who just experienced a breakdown. Everything was arranged, minimal. Photographs existed on the walls. Most portrayed Connor. Connor at graduation, Connor at a baseball game, Connor on a hiking expedition. Connor, Connor, Connor. Exactly one photograph of Derek with someone else. It resembled his family. "You want coffee?" Derek questioned. "No," I stated. "I want truth." Derek positioned himself on his couch. He placed his head in his hands. "You genuinely want executing this presently on your wedding day?" "Yes." He looked upward at me. His eyes were crimson. I suspected it wasn't just from drinking. "Fine. Connor and I maintained a relationship in university." The room tilted slightly. "What?" "We remained together for 2 years, junior and senior year. He terminated our relationship immediately after graduation because he claimed he couldn't exist that life. He stated he wanted normalcy, marriage, children, execute the entire heterosexual thing." I felt Amber's hand on my arm, stabilizing me. "He informed me he'd never dated anyone before me," I stated quietly. "He lied. Why would he lie regarding that?" Derek shrugged. "Because he's ashamed. Because he desired a fresh start." "I'm uncertain. Question him." "Did you maintain contact after he terminated your relationship?" "Not for multiple years. Then he contacted me, claimed he missed my friendship. I was foolish enough believing he just wanted friendship." "But you didn't just want friendship." "Naturally, I didn't. I never stopped caring for him, and he understood that. He utilized that." "Utilized it? How?" Derek stood and walked to his window. He stared outward at the street below. He'd contact me whenever things became difficult, whenever he felt trapped. We'd meet up, talk, sometimes more than talk. My stomach plummeted. "You've been sleeping with him. Not the entire time you've been together." "It stopped approximately a year ago. I informed him I couldn't continue it anymore." that I required moving forward. He claimed he understood. But you didn't move forward. No. And when he requested me to be his groomsman, I thought— Derek's voice fractured. I thought perhaps he was realizing he made a mistake. He didn't. No. He intensified. And last evening, watching him up there discussing his future with you, regarding the life you're constructing together, I lost control. I apologize. I sat down on his couch because my legs wouldn't support me anymore. Amber was pale. Oh my God, does anyone else know? I questioned. Regarding you and Connor? His brother knows. Marcus. They're close. Marcus, Connor's older brother, his groomsman. Did Marcus know regarding the other stuff? The infidelity? Derek shook his head. I don't think so. Connor was proficient at hiding things. I thought about all the times Connor had worked late or gone to the gym or met up with Derek for a beer. All the times I trusted him without question. Why are you telling me this? I asked. You could have just played dumb, let me marry him, kept your secret. Derek turned to look at me. His expression was hollow. Because you seem nice, and you don't deserve to marry someone who's lying to you about who he is. I did you a favor last night, even if it didn't feel like it. When did it stop? I asked suddenly. You said a year ago. What happened? Derek was quiet for a moment. I told him I couldn't keep being his escape, that it was destroying me watching him plan a life with you while he was still coming to me. I said I needed him to choose, really choose. And he chose you. He chose the easier path. You represented everything he wanted to be. Normal, acceptable, safe. And you represented, everything he was trying to run from. The words hit me hard because they were true. Connor had been running from himself our entire relationship, and I'd been the finish line he was desperately trying to reach. Did you love him? Derek asked suddenly. Really love him? I thought about it. I loved who I thought he was. I don't know if I ever really knew him well enough to love the real him. Derek nodded slowly. That's honest, at least. We left shortly after. Amber drove because I couldn't focus on the road. What are you going to do? She asked. I'm going to talk to Marcus, Maya. I need to confirm this. Derek could be lying or exaggerating or I don't know. I need to hear it from someone else. Marcus was staying at the hotel where the wedding was supposed to happen. I called him from the car. Maya, he answered, are you okay? Connor's freaking out. He can't reach you. I need to talk to you in person right now. Okay, I'm at the hotel, room 412. When we got there, Marcus was pacing his room. He looked nervous. What's going on? He asked. Is the wedding still happening? That depends, I said. I need you to tell me the truth about something. Marcus's face tightened. About what? About Connor and Derek, their relationship. Marcus closed his eyes. Oh no. So it's true. What did Derek tell you? That they dated in university? That Connor broke up with him after graduation because he wanted to be straight? Is that true? Marcus sat down on his bed. He nodded slowly. Yeah, it's true. Did you know they were still involved after Connor and I started dating? Marcus looked genuinely surprised. What? No. Connor told me it was completely over, that Derek was just his friend. Derek says they were sleeping together up until about a year ago. That son of a— Marcus stopped himself. I didn't know. I swear if I'd known, I would have said something. I believed him. Marcus had always been kind to me, welcoming. What else don't I know? I asked. Marcus rubbed his face. Look, Connor's complicated. He spent his whole life trying to be what our parents wanted, what he thought society wanted. When he came out to me in university, he was happy, lighter. Then our father made some comments about gay people at a family dinner, and Connor just shut down. He broke up with Derek and never looked back, until he looked back, I guess. So what did your father say? At that dinner? Marcus hesitated. He was talking about a coworker who'd just come out, said it was unnatural, that people like that were confused, that they'd regret it when they got older and wanted a real family. Connor didn't say anything at the time, but he called me that night. He was crying, said he couldn't do it, couldn't be that person our father was talking about. So he decided to be someone else instead. Yeah. My phone rang. Connor again. I let it go to voicemail. He's going to figure out where you are soon, Marcus said. Let him. For what it's worth, Marcus added, I think you're doing the right thing. Connor needs to figure out who he is, and he can't do that while trying to be what everyone else wants. That's not my responsibility anymore. No, it's not. I left anyway. I didn't want to see Connor yet, not until I decided what I was going to do. Amber and I went back to her apartment. It was 10 in the morning. The wedding was at 2. You need to make a decision, Amber said gently. I know. Do you still want to marry him? I thought about it. Really thought about it. No, I said, not like this. Not with all these lies. Okay, then you need to call it off. Everyone's already there. The venue is set up, the flowers are delivered, the food is prepared. None of that matters, Maya. What matters is whether you want to marry someone who's been lying to you for 3 years. She was right. I called my mother first, told her everything. She was horrified, but supportive. Do what you need to do, sweetheart, she said. We'll handle the logistics. Then I called the venue and told them to cancel. The coordinator was surprisingly understanding. Apparently, this wasn't her first same-day cancellation. These things happen more than you'd think, she said kindly. Better now than after. Then I had to deal with Connor. Short pause. He showed up at Amber's apartment around 11. He pounded on the door. Maya, I know you're in there. Open the door. Amber looked at me. Do you want me to tell him to leave? No, I said. I need to face him. I opened the door. Pause. Connor looked panicked. His suit was only half on. He'd clearly gotten dressed in a hurry. Thank God, he said. I thought, we need to talk. Please come in. He stepped inside. Amber excused herself to the bedroom. Connor and I stood in the living room facing each other. Derek told you, he said. It wasn't a question. Yes. He's lying, Marcus confirmed. Connor's face fell. Marcus doesn't know everything. He knows you and Derek dated. He knows you broke up with Derek because you wanted to be straight. Is that enough, Maya? That was years ago, before I met you. It doesn't matter. It matters that you lied about it. I hadn't, not a real one. So your 2-year relationship with Derek wasn't real. It wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't who I am. Are you gay, Connor? He flinched like I'd slapped him. No. Are you bisexual? I don't like labels. That's not an answer. Connor started pacing. Why does it matter? I chose you. I'm marrying you. Were you sleeping with Derek while we were together? Silence. Connor, it was a mistake, he said quietly. It meant nothing. How many times? Does it matter? Yes. He wouldn't look at me. A few times early on when we were having problems. We weren't having problems. You made up problems so you could cheat on me. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like? Connor finally looked at me. His eyes were wet. I don't know. I was confused. I thought I was over him, but then he was just there, and it was familiar and easy, and I messed up, but I stopped. Over a year ago, I committed to you, to us. After how many times, Maya? How many times did you sleep with him? 5, maybe 6. Maybe 6? Like he couldn't even keep count? Did you use protection? His face went white. Oh my God. Yes, every time. I would never. You already did. You exposed me to whatever he might have. You risked my health for your confusion. I got tested. I'm clean. I made sure. When did you get tested? After the last time? I told you I was getting a physical. I got the full panel. At least there was that. Why did you ask Derek to be your groomsman? I asked. Because he's my best friend. He's in love with you. He'll get over it. The casual way he said it made my skin crawl. You're using him, I said. You used him for years, kept him on the hook because it was convenient, because you wanted the comfort of him without the commitment. That's not fair, isn't it? You broke his heart. Then you came back and broke it again multiple times. And you still wanted him at your wedding, standing next to you, watching you marry someone else. How is that not cruel? Connor didn't have an answer for that. I can't marry you, I said. Maya, please, I already canceled everything. The wedding's off. No, 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 we can fix this. We can go to counseling. We can work through it. I don't want to work through it. I don't want to spend the next year or 5 years or 10 years wondering if you're really happy with me or if you're just playing a part. I don't want to worry every time you're late coming home or every time you mention Derek's name. I'll cut him out completely. I'll never talk to him again. That's not the point. Then what is the point? The point is that you lied to me about who you are, about your past, about your feelings. You built our entire relationship on a foundation of lies, and now you're surprised it's crumbling. Connor sank onto the couch. He put his head in his hands. I love you, he said. I don't think you do. I think you love the idea of me, the life I represent, but you don't actually love me, not enough to be honest with me. He didn't argue. I took off my engagement ring, placed it on the coffee table. You should go, I said. He looked at the ring, then at me. Is there anything I can say? Anything I can do? No. Before you go, if you're finding this story as intense as I am, please hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below telling me your thoughts, which also helps small creators like me. Now, back to what happened next. He stood slowly, picked up the ring, held it in his palm like he was weighing it. I'm sorry, he said. For what it's worth, I really am sorry. I know. I never wanted to hurt you. But you did anyway. He nodded, turned toward the door, then stopped. Can I ask you something? What? If I'd been honest from the beginning, if I'd told you about Derek, about my past, would you have still dated me? I thought about it. I don't know, I said honestly. Maybe if you'd been honest about working through it, if you'd been committed to figuring yourself out while building something with me. But that's not what you did. You lied and hid and kept one foot in your past while promising me a future. I know. You robbed us of the chance to build something real, because real things are built on truth. Connor's shoulders slumped. He looked defeated. I hope you find what you're looking for, he said quietly. I hope you do too. He left. The next few hours were chaos. My phone wouldn't stop ringing. Family members, friends, people demanding explanations or offering condolences or sharing their opinions. I turned it off eventually. Amber ordered pizza. We ate on the couch and watched terrible reality TV. What are you going to do now? She asked. I don't know. I guess I'll move out of Connor's place, find my own apartment. You can stay here as long as you need. Thanks. My mother came over around 6. She hugged me for a long time. I'm proud of you, she said. That took courage. It didn't feel courageous. It felt necessary. That's what courage is. She helped me make a plan. I'd stay with Amber for a week while I found a new place. My father would help me move my stuff out of Connor's apartment while Connor was at work. What about the money? My mother asked. Your father and I paid for half the wedding. I'll pay you back, Maya. That's not... I'll pay you back. I need to do this on my own. She understood. Over the next few days, I started packing. Connor had moved into a hotel to give me space. We communicated through text messages about logistics. Nothing personal, just practical details about who owned what and when I'd be out. It was strange, dismantling a life we'd built together. Every item had a memory. The coffee maker we'd bought on our first trip together, the throw pillows I'd insisted on, the painting we'd found at a flea market. I took what was mine and left the rest. My father helped me move on a Tuesday. Connor wasn't there. He'd left the key under the mat, like we'd agreed. You doing okay, kiddo? My father asked as we loaded the last box into his truck. Yeah, I said. I think I am. Your mother told me what happened with Connor and his friend, Derek, right? Derek. My father was quiet for a moment. For what it's worth, you did the right thing. I know. Do you? Just a little bit. I looked at him. What do you mean? I mean, it's easy to second-guess yourself after something like this, to wonder if you overreacted, if you should have given him another chance. I don't think I overreacted. I don't think you did either. But I want you to know that even if you have moments of doubt, and you will, you made the right call. You can't build a marriage on lies. It doesn't work. How do you know? My father smiled sadly. Because I tried. Before I met your mother, I was engaged to someone else. Lovely woman, smart, kind, but I wasn't honest with her about some things, important things. I never knew that. It's not something I talk about much, but I learned something from it. You can't love someone fully if you're not willing to be fully known, and Connor wasn't willing to let you know him. We drove to Amber's apartment in silence. My father helped me carry everything up 3 flights of stairs. When we were done, he hugged me. "You're going to be okay," he said. "I know." "Better than okay. You're going to be great." I wanted to believe him. Connor tried calling me a few more times over the next few days, but I didn't answer. I wasn't ready. Maybe I never would be. Derek texted me once. "I'm sorry for everything. I hope you find someone who deserves you." I didn't respond to that either. 1 week after the wedding that didn't happen, I went back to work. My coworkers had heard what happened. They were kind but awkward about it. Nobody knew what to say. My friend, Sophia from accounting, pulled me aside at lunch. "I don't want to overstep," she said, "but if you need to talk, I'm here. I went through something similar a few years ago." "You did?" "Yeah, my fiancé cheated on me with his ex. Found out 2 weeks before the wedding. It was hell." "What did you do?" "I called it off. Moved to a new city, started over. Best decision I ever made." "You don't regret it?" "Not for a second. That pain was temporary. A bad marriage would have been permanent." Her words stayed with me. About a week later, I was scrolling through social media when I saw that Connor had posted something. Against my better judgment, I clicked on it. It was a photo of him and Derek. They were at a restaurant, sitting close together. The caption said, "Sometimes the person you're looking for has been there all along." I stared at that photo for a full minute. Then I laughed. Amber came over to see what was funny. "Look," I said, showing her the phone. Her eyes widened. "Oh my God, they're together apparently. That was fast." "Not really. They've been together this whole time. They just finally stopped hiding it." "How do you feel about that?" I thought about it. "Relieved," I said. "At least now he's being honest. At least now Derek gets what he wanted." "Do you think they'll last?" "I have no idea, but that's not my problem anymore." And it really wasn't. I found an apartment 2 weeks later, a small 1-bedroom in a good neighborhood. It was more expensive than I'd have liked, but it was mine. The first place that was truly just mine. I painted the bedroom a soft blue, bought new curtains, hung up photos of my family and friends, created a space that felt like me. I focused on work, reconnected with friends I'd neglected while planning the wedding, started going to a yoga class, adopted a cat named Mochi who'd been at the shelter for months because she was older and people wanted kittens. She curled up on my lap the first night I brought her home and purred. "We're going to be okay," I told her. She seemed to agree. Life moved on in small, steady ways. I started cooking more, tried new recipes, discovered I actually liked having a kitchen to myself where I could make as much of a mess as I wanted. I went on walks in the mornings before work, watched the sunrise, listened to podcasts about everything and nothing. I started journaling, writing down my thoughts and feelings, processing everything that had happened. Some days were harder than others. I'd see a couple holding hands and feel a pang of loneliness. I'd pass by the restaurant where Connor and I had our first date and feel a wave of something that wasn't quite sadness, but wasn't quite anything else either. But mostly, I felt lighter, like I'd been carrying something heavy without realizing it, and now that it was gone, I could finally breathe properly. About 3 months after the almost wedding, I ran into Marcus at a coffee shop. "Maya," he said, looking genuinely pleased to see me. "How are you?" "I'm good," I said, and I meant it. "How are you?" "I'm okay." "Listen, I wanted to apologize for not telling you earlier about Connor and Derek. I should have said something. You didn't know the whole story. Still, you deserved better than what happened." "Yeah, I did." We talked for a few minutes. He told me that Connor and Derek were living together now, that they'd come out to their parents, that it had been messy, but they were working through it. My mother's having a hard time with it, Marcus said. She feels like she pushed Connor into something he didn't want. Into you, I mean, no offense. None taken. Did she push him? Not intentionally, but she made it clear what she expected, what would make the family proud. And Connor always wanted to make her proud. That's a lot of pressure to put on someone. Yeah, my father's not speaking to Connor right now. Says he's embarrassed that Connor's making a mockery of the family. That's awful. It is, but Connor seems happier, more himself, even with everything else falling apart. I think Connor's happier now, Marcus said. More himself, even if it took a disaster to get there. That's good, I said. Everyone deserves to be themselves. What about you? Are you seeing anyone? Not yet. I'm still figuring out who I am outside of that relationship. That's smart. Before we parted ways, Marcus said, for what it's worth, I think you dodged a bullet. Connor wasn't ready to be married. Maybe he never will be. But you're going to be fine. Better than fine. Thanks, Marcus. And hey, if you ever need anything or just want to grab coffee and talk, let me know. I always thought you were good for our family, just not for Connor. I smiled. I appreciate that. The months continued to pass. I fell into a routine. Work, yoga, time with friends, evenings with Mochi. I went on a few dates, nothing serious. A coworker's friend who was nice but boring. A guy I met at a bookstore who talked too much about his ex. A woman from my yoga class who was sweet, but we had nothing in common. I wasn't in a hurry. For the first time in my adult life, I was comfortable being alone. I learned things about myself. I learned that I liked mystery novels and hated action movies, that I preferred tea to coffee in the evenings, that I was actually pretty good at painting, something I'd never tried before. I took a pottery class, made lopsided bowls and uneven mugs, kept them all anyway because they were mine and I'd made them. I started volunteering at an animal shelter on weekends, walking dogs, playing with cats. It was good to focus on something outside myself. 6 months after the wedding that never happened, I was at a bookstore when someone bumped into me. I'm so sorry, a voice said. I looked up to see a woman about my age with curly auburn hair and an apologetic smile. It's okay, I said. I wasn't watching where I was going. I get too absorbed in the books. Meet you. She was holding a mystery novel, the same author I'd just discovered. Oh, I love that series, I said. Her face lit up. You've read them? I'm on book 3. Book 3 is so good. Wait until you get to the twist. No spoilers, I said quickly. She laughed. I promise. We started talking. Her name was Riley. She was a graphic designer. She loved mystery novels and hiking and her golden retriever named Biscuit. Biscuit? I said. I know. I adopted her when she was already named that and it seemed wrong to change it. I have a cat named Mochi. Mochi and Biscuit. They sound like a cooking show. I laughed, really laughed, for the first time in months. We talked for 20 minutes in the bookstore. Then she had to leave for a meeting. This was nice, she said. Yeah, it was. Would it be okay if I gave you my number? Maybe we could talk about books sometime, or anything, really. I hesitated for just a second. Then I pulled out my phone. I'd like that. We exchanged numbers. 3 weeks later, we went on our first date, dinner at a small Italian restaurant, the kind with checkered tablecloths and candles and wine bottles. Riley was easy to talk to. She asked questions and actually listened to the answers. She told me about her work, her family, her dog. When I told her I'd recently ended an engagement, she didn't pry. That must have been hard, she said. It was, but it was also the right thing to do. I believe that. Sometimes the hard thing and the right thing are the same thing. At the end of the night, she walked me to my car. I had a really nice time, she said. Me too. Can we do this again? Yes, she smiled. Good. We saw each other again the following week, and the week after that, and the week after that. Riley was different from Connor in every way. She was open about her feelings, honest about her past, clear about what she wanted. There was no guessing, no wondering, no second-guessing every word and action. It was refreshing. 6 months after we started dating, she met my family. My mother loved her immediately. They spent an hour talking about gardening while I helped my father with dinner. "She seems nice," my father said quietly. "She is. You seem happy." "I am." "Good. That's all I want for you." Amber pulled me aside later that evening. "Okay, I really like her," Amber said. "Yeah? She's good for you, I can tell." "How?" "Because you smile more. You seem lighter, more like yourself." I didn't realize I'd lost myself. You didn't lose yourself. You just got a little buried under everything else. But you're back now. A year after meeting Riley, I moved in with her. We found a place together, a 2-bedroom apartment with a small balcony and enough space for both Mochi and Biscuit. The animals took about 3 days to become best friends. We'd find them curled up together on the couch, Biscuit's head resting on Mochi's back. "They're cuter than us," Riley said one evening, watching them sleep. "Way cuter." Should we be offended? Probably. She laughed and kissed me. Life with Riley was easy in a way life with Connor never had been. We didn't fight often, and when we did, we talked it out. No hiding, no avoiding, just honest conversation about whatever was bothering us. She supported my hobbies, came to my pottery class exhibit when I displayed my wonky bowls, cheered me on when I ran my first 5K. I supported hers, attended her gallery showing when she displayed her graphic design work, helped her practice presentations for client meetings. We built a life together, a real one. 2 years after the wedding that never happened, Riley proposed to me on a beach in Oregon. We'd gone for a long weekend. It was early morning, the beach nearly empty. The sun was just starting to rise over the water. "I have something to ask you," Riley said. "Okay." She got down on one knee, pulled out a small box. "Maya, you're my best friend, my partner, the person I want to come home to every day for the rest of my life." "It seems sweet." I said yes, without hesitation. No doubt, no fear, no wondering if this was right. Just pure, uncomplicated joy. We had a small wedding, just family and close friends. No rehearsal dinner, no groomsmen drama, no lies. Just 2 people who loved each other, choosing each other honestly and completely. Amber gave a speech at the reception. 2 years ago, she said, my sister almost made the biggest mistake of her life, but she didn't. She was brave enough to walk away from something that looked perfect but wasn't, and because of that courage, she found something real. She raised her glass. To Maya and Riley, may your marriage be built on truth, trust, and all the love you both deserve. Everyone cheered. I looked at Riley. She was crying happy tears. You okay? I asked. I'm perfect, she said. Are you? I thought about everything that had led me here, the betrayal, the heartbreak, the hard choices. Yeah, I said, I really am. And I was. Sometimes the worst thing that can happen to you becomes the best thing that ever happened to you. Sometimes walking away from what's broken leads you to what's whole. Sometimes a wedding that doesn't happen is the beginning of the life you were always meant to live. The reception was beautiful, simple but elegant. White lights strung across the ceiling, flowers from a local farm, a cake that nobody destroyed. During our first dance, Riley whispered in my ear, I'm so glad I bumped into you that day. Technically, I bumped into you. Let's agree it was mutual. I laughed. Deal. Later that night, my mother pulled me aside. I'm so happy for you, sweetheart, she said. Thanks, Mom. I want you to know something. When you called off the wedding with Connor, I was worried. Not because I thought you were making a mistake, but because I knew how hard it would be, how much courage it would take. It was hard, but you did it anyway, and look where you are now. I looked around the room. Riley dancing with her father, Amber laughing with some of our friends, my father talking animatedly with Riley's mother about something I couldn't hear. Yeah, I said, look where I am. I never spoke to Connor again. I heard through mutual friends that he and Derek were still together, that they'd gotten married in a small ceremony upstate, that they seemed happy. I hoped they were. I genuinely did. Not because I forgave Connor for what he did, but because everyone deserves to live their truth, even if it comes at someone else's expense, even if that someone else was me. I learned something important from all of it. Love isn't about sacrifice. It isn't about compromise. It isn't about accepting less than you deserve because you're afraid of being alone. Love is about choosing someone who chooses you back fully, honestly, without reservation. And I finally had that. The night of my wedding to Riley, after everyone had left and we were alone in our hotel room, she asked me a question. Do you ever think about what would have happened if you'd married Connor? Sometimes, I admitted. And I think I would have spent the rest of my life wondering if I was enough, if he really wanted me, or if he was just trying to convince himself. That sounds exhausting. It would have been. Riley took my hand. I want you to know something, she said. You are enough. You're more than enough. You're everything. I kissed her. So are you. And that was the truth. The whole truth, nothing but the truth. Finally. A few months after our wedding, my mother called me. You'll never guess who I ran into at the grocery store, she said. Who? Connor's mother. I felt a small twinge of anxiety. Oh. She apologized for everything. She said she knew something was wrong with Connor before the wedding, but she didn't want to see it. She said she was sorry for pushing you two together. What did you say? I told her that everything worked out the way it was supposed to, that you're happy now. What did she say to that? She said she was glad, and she meant it. I thought about that for a moment. That's good, I said. She also told me that Connor and Derek broke up. That surprised me. Really? Apparently, being together in reality wasn't the same as the fantasy Derek had built up in his head. They fought constantly. Derek couldn't get over the fact that Connor had kept him a secret for so long. Connor couldn't handle the pressure of being out. It was a mess. Wow. Connor's dating women again, apparently. His mother seemed confused about the whole thing. I wasn't surprised. Some people spend their whole lives running from themselves. Well, I said, I hope he figures it out eventually. You're very gracious. I'm just happy it's not my problem anymore. My mother laughed. Fair enough. How's Riley? She's great. We're thinking about getting a dog. Another one? Biscuit needs a friend. Of course she does. We talked for a bit longer, then said goodbye. I hung up and looked around our apartment. Riley was in the kitchen dancing to music I couldn't hear, probably wearing her earbuds. Mochi was asleep on the couch. The afternoon sun was streaming through the windows. Everything was exactly where it needed to be, including me. And when I thought about that rehearsal dinner, about Derek standing up and screaming, about the cake smashing and the chaos that followed, I didn't feel angry anymore. I felt grateful, because that moment of destruction was really a moment of clarity. It was the universe telling me to wake up, to look closer, to demand better. And I listened. A year after my wedding to Riley, I got an unexpected message on social media. It was from Derek. Hi, Maya. I know this is out of the blue. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to apologize for how everything went down. What I did at your rehearsal dinner was inexcusable. I let my feelings override my basic decency. You didn't deserve that. I've been in therapy, working through a lot of stuff. Part of that process is making amends where possible. So I'm sorry, truly. I hope you found happiness. I stared at that message for a long time. Riley came up behind me. Everything okay? Derek messaged me. The Derek? Yeah. What did he say? I showed her the message. She read it carefully. How do you feel about that? She asked. I don't know. Part of me appreciates the apology. Part of me thinks it's a few years too late. You don't have to respond if you don't want to. I know. I thought about it for a few days, then I wrote back. Thank you for the apology. I appreciate that you're working on yourself. I am happy now. I hope you're finding your way to happiness too. Short, simple, honest. Derek wrote back. I'm glad. You deserve it. And that was it. Closure, or something close to it. 2 years into my marriage with Riley, we decided to buy a house. It was small but perfect. 2 bedrooms, a yard for Biscuit, a sunroom where Mochi liked to map. We painted the walls ourselves. Riley chose colors I never would have thought of. A sage green in the living room, a warm terracotta in the dining room. "Trust me," she said when I looked skeptical. And I did, because that's what you do when you're with someone who sees you and loves you anyway. The house looked amazing when we were done. We had a housewarming party, invited everyone we cared about. My parents, Amber, Riley's family, our friends. Marcus came. He'd stayed in touch with me over the years, completely independent of Connor. He brought his girlfriend, a woman named Sophia who worked in education. "This place is great," he said, looking around. "Thanks, we love it. You seem really happy, Maya." "I am. How are you?" "Good. Really good, actually." He glanced at Sophia, who was talking to Riley about something. "I think I'm gonna propose soon." "That's wonderful, Marcus." "Yeah, I learned something from watching you and Connor. Life's too short to be with someone who's not all in. It really is. For what it's worth, Connor's doing okay now. He's single, seeing a therapist, working on figuring himself out. That's good. He deserves to be happy too. You're very kind, considering." "I'm not kind. I'm just done carrying anger about it. It's been years. I've moved on." And I had. Later that night, after everyone had gone home, Riley and I sat on our back porch. Biscuit was at our feet. Mochi was curled up on Riley's lap. "This was a good day," Riley said. It was. "I was thinking about, maybe we should talk about kids. Not right now, but eventually." My heart did a little flip. "You want kids?" "I do. With you." Short pause. "I want that too." She smiled. "Good. Then let's make that happen when we're ready." "When we're ready," I agreed. 6 months later, we started the process. Research, consultations, decisions about how we wanted to build our family. It took time. There were setbacks and disappointments, but we handled it together, supporting each other through every step. And 3 years after we got married, we welcomed our daughter. We named her Emma. She had Riley's auburn hair and my eyes, and a personality that was entirely her own from day one. Being parents changed us, made us more patient, more careful, more aware of what really mattered. We took turns with night feedings and diaper changes and all the mundane, exhausting, beautiful parts of raising a tiny human. My mother came over almost every day to help. She'd hold Emma for hours while I napped or showered or just sat in silence for a few minutes. "She's perfect," my mother said one afternoon, rocking Emma to sleep. "She really is. I'm so proud of the life you've built, sweetheart, the family you've created." "Thanks, Mom. I couldn't have done it without you." "Yes, you could have, but I'm glad you didn't have to." When Emma was 6 months old, Amber came to visit. "I can't believe you're a mom," she said, watching me feed Emma. "I can't either sometimes." "You're really good at it." "I'm making it up as I go. Isn't that what everyone does?" "I guess so." Amber held Emma while I made lunch. She looked natural with her, comfortable. "Have you thought about having kids?" I asked. "Maybe someday. I'm still figuring out my own life first." "That's smart. You know what's weird?" "What?" "I was thinking about your almost wedding the other day, about how close you came to marrying Connor." Short pause. "Why were you thinking about that?" "Because I was imagining what your life would be like now if you had, and it made me sad." "Why?" "Because you wouldn't have this life, this happiness." "Emma." "No," I said quietly, "I wouldn't. Sometimes things fall apart so better things can fall together." Someone wise say that? I did, just now. I'm wise. I laughed. Yes, you are. Emma grew. 1 year old, 2 years old, 3 years old. She was curious and stubborn and kind. She loved books and animals and painting. Riley and I took her to the zoo, the library, the park. We read to her every night, taught her to be brave and honest and true to herself. We didn't pretend our family was traditional. We explained in age-appropriate ways that families come in all different forms, that what matters is love, not structure. "I have 2 moms," Emma said proudly at preschool one day. The teacher called us in for a meeting. I braced myself for some lecture about confusing the other children. Instead, she said, Emma talks about you both constantly. She clearly feels very loved and secure. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Relief washed over me. Thank you, Riley said. No need to thank me. I'm just telling you what I see. You're good parents. We left that meeting holding hands, both of us a little teary. We're doing okay, Riley said. We're doing better than okay. Yeah, we really are. 5 years after my wedding to Riley, I was at a coffee shop when I saw him. Connor. He was sitting alone at a corner table working on a laptop. He looked older, thinner. There was gray in his hair that hadn't been there before. I could have left, could have snuck out before he saw me, but I didn't. I walked over to his table. Connor? He looked up. His eyes widened. Maya. Hi. Hi. Would you like to sit? I hesitated, then nodded. We sat in awkward silence for a moment. You look good, he said finally. Thanks, so do you. I heard you got married. Congratulations. Thank you. I heard you and Derek didn't work out. Yeah, that was complicated. I'm sorry. Don't be. It was probably inevitable. We had too much history, too much hurt. Are you seeing anyone now? No. I'm taking time to work on myself, figure out who I am outside of a relationship. That's good. I've been in therapy, a lot of therapy. How's that going? It's hard but helpful. I'm learning a lot about why I did what I did, why I hurt you, why I hurt Derek. I didn't know what to say to that. I'm sorry, Maya, for everything. I know I said it before, but I don't think I really understood what I was apologizing for. Now I do. What are you apologizing for? For using you, for lying to you, for wasting 3 years of your life while I tried to figure out who I was supposed to be instead of who I actually was. I appreciate that. I heard you have a daughter. I do. Her name is Emma. That's a beautiful name. Thank you. Are you happy? I thought about Riley, about Emma, about the life we'd built. Yes, I said. I really am. Good. That's really good. We talked for a few more minutes, superficial stuff, safe topics. Then I stood to leave. It was good to see you, Connor. You too. I walked away feeling lighter. That conversation had been closure I didn't know I needed. When I got home, Riley was reading to Emma on the couch. How was your day? She asked. Interesting. I ran into Connor. Her eyebrows went up. Really? How was that? Fine, actually. He apologized. We talked. It was civil. How do you feel? Good, really good. Seeing him reminded me how far I've come, how different my life is now. Better, different? So much better. Emma climbed onto my lap. Mama, I drew you a picture. She held up a drawing of our family. Me, Riley, Emma, Biscuit, and Mochi all holding hands. Well, pause. It's beautiful, baby. We're all together. Yes, we are. And that was everything. Sometimes the worst thing someone can do to you is the best gift they never meant to give. Derek didn't destroy my wedding. He saved me from a marriage that would have destroyed me. Connor didn't break my heart. He showed me I deserved better, pushed me toward finding it. And somewhere along the way, I learned that happiness isn't about finding the perfect person or the perfect life. It's about finding someone who makes you want to be honest, someone who sees all of you and loves all of you, someone who doesn't make you wonder or worry or second guess, someone who's just there, fully, completely, without reservation. I found that in Riley, and in finding her, I found myself. Not the person I thought I was supposed to be, but the person I actually was. And that person, that real, honest, imperfect person, was enough, more than enough. She was exactly who she needed to be, and she was finally, wonderfully, completely happy.